A woman knocked on my door on Christmas morning holding a baby that looked exactly like my daughter. Same eyes, same chin, same dimple on the left cheek. She said, "Hi, I'm your husband's other wife." And the baby in her arms? She was born 3 weeks after mine. Same father, same hospital, same doctor. I didn't scream. I didn't faint. I invited her inside, poured her a cup of coffee, and we spent the next 4 hours comparing 14 years of lies. By the end of that conversation, we weren't enemies. We were allies. And what we did next made national news. Let me take you back. I married Nathan Cross when I was 25. He was 30, an airline pilot for a regional carrier. Handsome, steady, reliable. Or so I thought. The kind of man who brought flowers on random Tuesdays and never forgot an anniversary. We lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. Beautiful house. 2 kids, Maya, 12, and Ethan, 9. From the outside, we were the picture of a perfect family. Nathan flew 3 to 4 days a week. Sometimes he'd be gone for an entire week on international routes. I never questioned it. He was a pilot. That's what pilots do. He'd call every night from his hotel. He'd FaceTime the kids before bedtime. He always came home with little gifts. Magnets from different cities, chocolate from duty-free. Every single detail was designed to make me trust him completely. But I had no idea that when he kissed me goodbye on Tuesday mornings, he drove to the airport and flew to Minneapolis. Not for work, for his other family. The first sign came so small I almost missed it. Maya was doing a school project, a family tree. She wanted to include Nathan's side, so she Googled his name. Standard stuff. Except Google suggested Nathan Cross Minneapolis as a top result. Maya showed me a local PTA newsletter from a school in Edina, Minnesota. Thank you to Nathan Cross for volunteering at the Fall Carnival. I stared at that screen for 10 minutes. Nathan had never been to Minnesota. He flew southeast routes, Atlanta, Miami, Nashville. At least that's what he told me. I told myself it was a different Nathan Cross. Common name, coincidence, and then I found something that made my blood run cold. I checked our phone records. I'd never done it before, never had a reason to. Nathan's phone showed hundreds of calls and texts to a 612 area code. Minneapolis. Some calls lasted over an hour. Some were at 11 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m. Times when he told me he was in the hotel going to sleep early. The calls started in 2012. 14 years of phone calls to someone I'd never heard of. I didn't confront him. I couldn't. Not yet. Not until I knew exactly what I was dealing with. That's when everything changed. I hired a private investigator named Diane, a former police detective who specialized in infidelity cases. She was expensive, $5,000 up front. But within 2 weeks, she delivered a file that was 3 inches thick. Nathan Cross had a second life. In Minneapolis, he was Nate Crossley, a slight name change, just enough to keep things separate. He owned a house, a 4-bedroom house with a 2-car garage, in Edina, a wealthy suburb. He had a wife. Her name was Lauren. They'd been married for 11 years. 3 years after he married me, they had 2 children, a daughter named Sophie, 12, the same age as Maya, and a son named Jack, 9, the same age as Ethan. He'd duplicated his entire family. Same ages, same genders, 2 wives, 4 children, 2 houses, 2 Christmas mornings, 2 sets of birthday parties. For 14 years. Diane's file included photos, family photos from Lauren's Facebook, which was set to private, but Diane had her ways. Nathan at the beach with Lauren and the kids. Nathan at Sophie's ballet recital. Nathan coaching Jack's Little League team. In Charlotte, he coached Ethan's soccer team. Same man, same smile, 2 completely separate worlds. My hands were shaking when I closed the file, not from anger, from the sheer scale of the deception. The logistics alone were staggering. 2 mortgages, 2 sets of bills, 2 family calendars synchronized so perfectly that neither wife ever suspected. He'd been doing this for over a decade. But what happened next? I still can't believe I did it. I found Lauren, not through Diane. I didn't want a detective between us. I found her through the PTA Newsletter, Edina Elementary School. I called the school, said I was a parent looking to volunteer, and asked to speak with the PTA coordinator. They connected me to Lauren Crossley. Her voice was warm, friendly. She sounded like someone I would have been friends with. And in that moment, I made a choice that would define everything that followed. I didn't tell her on the phone. I flew to Minneapolis. I knocked on her door on Christmas morning. The one morning I knew Nathan would be with me in Charlotte. He'd told Lauren he had to fly a Christmas route. He'd told me the same thing the years he spent Christmas with her. Lauren opened the door holding baby Emma, 8 months old. A baby I didn't know existed. A baby that was conceived while Nathan was supposedly on a 4-day layover in Dallas. "Hi," I said. "My name is Rebecca Cross. I think we need to talk." If you're still with me, a quick like really helps the channel. What happens next changed both our lives forever. Lauren didn't believe me at first. Of course she didn't. But I brought the file. I brought our wedding certificate. I brought 14 years of family photos. I showed her Nathan's flight logs, the real ones, which I'd obtained through an FAA records request, that proved he hadn't been on half the flights he claimed. We sat at her kitchen table for 4 hours. We compared stories. We compared dates. We built a timeline that was so precise, so damning, that we could account for almost every single day of the last 14 years. Monday and Tuesday, Charlotte. Wednesday through Friday, Minneapolis. Weekends, alternating with elaborate excuses for both sides. Holidays, a rotation so meticulous it could have been computer programmed. Nathan had 2 cell phones, 2 email accounts, 2 bank accounts, 2 life insurance policies, each listing a different wife as beneficiary. He'd filed taxes as married, filing separately for both households, using the name variation to avoid IRS detection. Lauren cried. I cried. Then we stopped crying and started planning. We didn't want just a divorce. We wanted accountability. We wanted him to face every single person he'd lied to and explain himself. And we wanted to make sure he could never do this to anyone again. Step 1. We contacted a lawyer. Not separate lawyers, the same lawyer. A family law attorney in Chicago named Patricia Voss, who had handled bigamy cases before. She confirmed what we suspected. Nathan had committed bigamy, which is a felony in both North Carolina and Minnesota. He'd also committed tax fraud, insurance fraud, and identity fraud. Step 2. We went to the FBI. 2 marriages, 2 sets of fraudulent tax returns, 2 life insurance policies, wire fraud across state lines. The agent we spoke to literally said, "This is one of the most elaborate cases of domestic fraud I've ever seen." Step 3, and this was Lauren's idea, not mine. We planned the reveal. Nathan's airline was having their annual family appreciation dinner. Both families were invited every year, but to different events in different cities, obviously. This year, Lauren and I arranged for both families to attend the same dinner, in Charlotte. Nathan didn't know Lauren was coming. He walked in with me and the kids, smiled at his colleagues, shook hands with the captain, got a drink from the bar. And then he turned around and saw Lauren, standing 20 feet away, holding baby Emma, with Sophie and Jack beside her. The colour drained from his face so completely I thought he was going to pass out. He dropped his glass. Everyone turned to look. Lauren walked up to him. Calm, composed. She said, loud enough for the entire room to hear, "Hi, honey. Surprised to see us. I brought your other children." The room went silent. Then the whispers started. Then the captain, Nathan's boss, said, "Nate, what the hell is going on?" Nathan tried to run, actually tried to walk out the door. 2 FBI agents were waiting in the parking lot. They arrested him on the spot. Bigamy, tax fraud, wire fraud, insurance fraud. The handcuffs clicked shut while his 4 children watched through the restaurant window. The trial took 5 months. The prosecution presented a 14-year timeline with 4,000 pieces of evidence. phone records, flight logs, financial documents, 2 marriage certificates, Nathan's defense. I loved them both. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. Guilty on all counts. 12 years federal prison. Both marriages annulled. Assets seized and split between Lauren and me. His pension, gone. His pilot's license, revoked permanently. But here's the part nobody expected. Lauren and I became friends. Real friends. We talk every week. Our kids, who share a father, who are technically half-siblings, have met. Maya and Sophie look so similar it's almost eerie. They're pen pals now. They send each other drawings and letters. Last Thanksgiving, Lauren and the kids flew to Charlotte. We had dinner together. All 6 kids at one table. 2 women who were strangers a year ago, who shared a husband without knowing it, sitting across from each other and laughing. Nathan wrote to both of us from prison. Same letter, word for word identical. Lauren and I compared them over FaceTime and laughed until we cried. Some men think they can live 2 lives. Nathan learned the hard way that it only takes 2 women comparing notes to bring the whole thing crashing down. If this story had you on the edge of your seat, hit subscribe. Tell me in the comments, what would you have done on that Christmas morning? I read every single one.